Alright, so you're going to need a zipper, a fly facing, and then a fly shield in order to complete this tutorial. So I just started by serging all around my fly facing, and then I took my fly shield and I folded it in half, and then I serged the top edge, the side edge, and the bottom edge of the fly shield. Okay, two things. The first is that I labeled the right sides of both the fly facing and the fly shield. And the second and most important thing is that you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the direction of both of those pieces. So if you notice that the fly facing, the straight edge is on the right side, and then for the fly shield, the folded edge is on the right side. So just make sure that you're paying attention to those details because it could affect the way that your zipper fly comes out in the end. Hi! First of all, thank you for stopping by, and my name is SHANiA, and on this channel you can find loads of sewing tutorials. Some of the tutorials I have are of things that I've made from scratch to finish, and then I have other tutorials where I've taken garments that have already been made and I just kind of chop and screw them and create something new with them. And then I have other videos like this one where I help you guys to understand some basic sewing techniques. So if you're interested in that, you should go ahead and check out my other videos and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to show some love and just support me in general, you can go ahead and do that by hitting that like button or leaving a comment or sharing this video or sharing my channel or subscribing or doing all of those things to show love. Anyway, I'll let you get back to the tutorial. Thanks again for stopping by. See you soon. Alright, so I took my fly facing and I turned it over so that it was wrong side up, and then I measured 3/8 from the edge. So the 3/8 mark is basically the tick just before the 1/2 inch mark on the ruler. So I measured 3/8 of an inch from the edge and I made a mark. And then basically what I did was I just extended that mark all the way down along the left side of the facing pattern. So it looked like this after I did that. And these are the two front pant patterns that I'm going to be working with to install the zipper into, but your pattern pieces might already be connected. Okay, so I'm starting with the right front pant pattern and I have it flipped so that it's right side facing up. And then I'm also using the fly facing and I'm turning the fly facing so that it is wrong side facing up, and I'm just lining up the edge of the fly facing to the edge of the front pant pattern. Then I did a straight stitch on top of that line that I added to the fly facing in the previous step. So after I stitched the two pieces together, I was left with this seam allowance flap, and I just made sure that the seam allowance flap was touching the facing pattern, and then I just laid it flat down on the table like so. So then I did a straight stitch about 1/4 of an inch away from the seam right along the facing pattern. So again, you want to make sure that the seam allowance flap gets stitched to the fly facing pattern. Then I measured 1/4 of an inch to the left of the zipper teeth edge. So again, the zipper teeth edge, not the actual zipper itself. Then once I made this mark, I extended the mark all along the full length of the zipper like so. So the next thing I did was I took my fly shield, making sure that it's on the right side. Again, the right side should have the folded edge on the right and the serged edge on the left. Then I took my zipper and I lined up the edge of the zipper along the edge of the fly shield. And then I'm just going to do a straight stitch right along that vertical line that I made on the zipper. Here I'm using my zipper foot, and the great thing about this is that I don't have to worry about the zipper actually being in the way. So I recommend you get a zipper foot if you don't have one. This is what it looked like after I stitched it down. And then the next thing I did was I took my other front pant pattern and I sandwiched it on top of the other pant pattern, and I'm just going to stitch along the crotch line to kind of close the two pattern pieces, but your pattern might already be closed, so you might not need to do that step. But now this is what it looks like. You can see the actual zipper fly starting to form. So the next thing I did was I just took my fly facing piece and I just tucked it away so that I don't get distracted. Then I took my left front pant pattern piece and I folded it along the seam allowance line. And then I took that same folded edge and I placed it on top of the line that I previously drew on the zipper. I pinned it down. And then after I pinned it down, I did a straight stitch as close as possible to the folded edge of the front pant pattern piece. And again, I'm using my zipper foot so that I can get as close as possible without worrying about the zipper getting in the way. And then obviously I was, sure to take out my pins while I was going. And this is what the stitch looked like when I finished. And you see when I open the zipper, you can see that the fly is really starting to come together. So the next thing then that I did was I placed the right front pant pattern on top of the left front pant pattern, and I just slightly overlapped it to see what it would look like once it's closed. And then I pinned it while it was overlapped, making sure to go through all of the layers with my pin or my pins. And then when I was done, I flipped it over, and here you can see I pinned through all of the layers. So I took the fly facing pattern piece and I just moved it over to the side so that it's not in the way, and I'm literally marking off 1/4 of an inch away from the zipper teeth line. And same thing, I just extended that mark so that it's the full length of the whole zipper. And I then pinned the zipper down to the facing, and I made sure that it's only being pinned to the facing and not to the actual front pant pattern. So once I finished pinning it, I took the front pant pattern and I just moved it out of the way so that I can now do a straight stitch along that line on the zipper. And then once I did that, it looks something like this, and you can see I did not stitch through the front pant pattern. It's really important that you don't do that. So after that, I flipped everything over, and then I took out those pins that I had previously put in the pattern, and then you can see now I have my zipper fly. The next thing I did was I eyeballed where the bottom of the zipper tape was, and then I made a mark 1/2 inch below the bottom of the zipper tape, but I made that mark on the front right pant pattern, and then from there I made a mark 1 inch to the right of the edge of the front right pant pattern. Then I drew a curved line to connect those two marks that I just made. And then from there, I just did a straight stitch on top of that curved line that I just drew. And here I just wanted to show you what it looks like once my needle is down on top of that line that I just drew. So the fly shield is on the left side and it's out of the way, so it's not going to be stitched on. And then on the other side, underneath the front pant pattern, you can see that the fly facing and the front pant pattern are actually underneath the needle. So those are the only two layers that should be stitched underneath the curved line. So there's one more optional step after this, and that's basically to just kind of aesthetically secure the bottom of the zipper fly. And what it is you would basically just make a mark right where the zipper tape ends, and you'd make that mark on top of the right side of the front pant pattern. And the mark is about 1/4 of an inch wide, and you would just stitch right along that mark. But again, that's optional.